99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
We wanted domestic football, and domestic football has started. Welcome to the Joy Sports Track on the day that follows the weekend of the start of the Normalization Committee Special Cup. It is a competition that seeks to end the football drought that we've had since the 6th of June 2018, and of course you can count on drama. You recall that a couple of weeks ago we had one of the ad hoc committee members saying that one of the recommendations made as Ghana football moves forward will be to have VAR at the stadia. Well, we saw why yesterday when Asante Kotoko played versus Aduana Stars. There was a very, very controversial moment. Even on the live replays, you couldn't tell what it was. You had to watch again and again and again and again at the incident which denied Aduana Stars a goal. Yaya Mohammed scored. We will go into that shortly. But the thing that got our, or that tickled our fancy was the response of the Aduana Stars coach, W.O. Tando, who issued a threat and said that it will be suicidal if something like that happens next time with the referees as well. And he complained that it seems that while we are normalizing football, the referees have not been normalized. We'll go into that and see why he shouldn't be saying that, or if he is justified in issuing such a threat, just as we want everything to go on smoothly. That will be just one of the things we'll be looking at. And also there's a very nifty event happening in terms of table tennis at the Bukum Boxing Arena. Ghana is hosting two major international table tennis federation tournaments. We'll be going there for a live update. And then, would you recall that last week by this time, people were wondering, but, they couldn't be sure what the answers were. Why did Kwadwo Asamoah not play against Kenya? Why was he not put in the game? And then afterwards, on the Tuesday when the Black Stars played Mauritania in a friendly game, he was nowhere to be found. Only for us to be told that he had left the camp, that by Kwesi Appiah, that he had left the camp because he had an injury. But there are two things involved. One, that he was injured, and then the second thing, that he was not too injured. But the thing that we know is that yesterday he played for Inter Milan and he was easily one of their best players. If you add 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, is it just that we have an issue with Kwadwo Asamoah? Is it that he just doesn't want to play for the Black Stars? Or are the handlers of the team not telling us the truth? We'll play a couple of sound bites and leave you to judge. It's all here from now until 2. And so, very interestingly, the Normalization Committee Special Cup has been divided into two zones, as you may know, the Northern Zone and the Southern Zone. The Northern Zone looks definitely more difficult than the Southern Zone if you look at the teams there. I mean, we've got Kotoko and Aduana for starters, who featured yesterday in their game. It was a very good game. Kotoko, of course, coming on the back of a lot of continental action, and so having all their players up to speed. And Aduana Stars, definitely not a pushover at all. They've been training, as we heard, and they are in great physical shape. It all gave us a great game until we got to this part when we had a bit of controversy in that tie.
Elvis Opoku finds Yaya Mohammed, and it's still Kotoko under siege. Yaya Mohammed, offside. against Yaya Mohammed, and the players won't protest. The Aduana Stars players will definitely protest. That is a close shave. Very, very close shave. So first of all, Felix Annan did well by coming off his lines. And this ball, where was Yaya Mohammed? Was there a Kotoko player in the box? Well, okay, so this is it. So Felix Annan came out, and there was a player of Kotoko on the lines. What a decision. What a decision by assistant referee to Tijani Mohammed.
Tijani Mohammed with that decision there. But of course, is that very, very, very controversial offside rule once again. It seems to be at the heart of what, fully 70 or 65% of controversial decisions around the world. But somebody who was at the game for us, and he indeed interviewed the coach after, is Kelvin Owusu-Ansah from Love FM in Kumasi. So Kelvin, thank you for joining us on the Joy Sports Track.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Yeah, we've just heard the audio clip from Henry Asante Chuma, a colleague from the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. He was having commentary of that game, and he described the incident for us. We've seen the videos as well. It was a very, very difficult call, to be honest, for a ref to have seen live, or an assistant ref, wouldn't you say?
Well, yes, it would be extremely difficult for any referee or any match official to make a very good decision out of that. But at the end of the day, I think he's justifiable with the decision he took, because at the end of the day, the player's actions definitely lies in his bosom to interpret the rules. Mm-hmm. Just as it leads him, the rules or the laws of the game with regards to offside decisions gives him that liberty at that particular point to interpret whether that final touch was from that is Abdul Ghani before it got to Yaya Mohammed. I think it's already been established that the second line of defense, Yaya had gone beyond it, so definitely it was left with just Wahab Mohammed, which the Diana Stars players and the coach have come to realization that it was definitely an offside if you are arguing from that point. But with the final decision that had to be left with whether Ghani's touch was a deliberate action or not, that seems to be in question now. But at the end of the day, that's why I said that the rule or the laws definitely leaves the rest of the player's actions or the result of the player's actions within his mark to whether call for an offside or not, which I think the assistant referee together with the center referee made a call. So at the end of the day, I really feel it wasn't too harsh a decision on Diana Stars, but definitely they have every reason justifiable to make complaints and also make their argument from that point.
Kelvin, let's go through Law 11. They're very, very, very controversial Law 11, the offside rule again. According to FIFA's law, it says that offside position, it is not an offense to be in an offside position. A player is in an offside position if, one, any part of the head, body or feet is in the opponent's half, excluding the halfway line, and any part of the head, body or feet is nearer to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opponent. This is what we saw yesterday in the game, right?
Yeah, very well. That was exactly what we saw. And goalkeeper Felix Annan, who is supposed ordinarily should be the first line of defense for the Porcupines, was off his line, and then he became the second line of defense because Wahab Adams had been just on the goal line to make sure that he covers up for his goalkeeper should it be the ball going beyond Felix or his inability to save it. So it became Felix as the second line of defense, and then Wahab Adams as the first line of defense. But Yaya had gone beyond
both players.
Yes, that is Felix Annan and then Abdul Ghani. So it meant that it was left with only Wahab, who had at that point become the last man for Kumasi Asante Kotoko on the line. So Yaya had gone beyond that second line of defense. That should have been the player that could have played him onside, which was between Felix and then Abdul Ghani. He had gone beyond them. So technically on that ground, he was offside when you relate to that particular point of the rules.
Right, so we've read the rule, we've heard your thoughts as somebody who was at the game. Afterwards as well, you interviewed the coach. Let's listen to what he said, and that has drawn all the headlines following that loss by Diana Stars.
Okay. The way forward, officiating, they must also normalize themselves. I've said it. and they must also do the good thing. You don't use your mind to play the game, and it's a shame. They must also normalize themselves. Let's have a very fine platform for everybody. If the playing ground is good, if I lose, I'll accept it. We are not worried, but we can all testify that the ball that entered the net, there was a player, our heart was right in the pole. Let's go and play it again. And he disallowed it. Fine, no problem. But I just want to say that those of us who wrote Adriana off have seen. So go and revise your notes. And the normalization competition is going to be interesting one.
Right. So we had him there. This one was at a press conference.
Yes, this one was at the post-match. But before that, I had an interview with him.
Where he said the suicidal thing.
Yes. When he said it's going to be suicidal if match officials were going to take this decisions into play to favor a weaker opponent, and he referred to Asante Kotoko as a weaker opponent on the day. But when he came to the press conference, and after making this was his initial comment when no question from any media person had gone to him. This was his initial, his opening remarks or his fair assessment of the game. Right after that, he was called to the rules of the game by one of our own from, that is Otek FM, that is Osei Akoto Kanu, and he really explained the rules to him, and then they pointed out the incident in 2010 during the South Africa
Mexico versus South Africa.
Yes, Mexico and then South Africa, and then the coach came to understand that yes, that decision was a fair decision taken by the referee, but he felt that they could have been educated well if there were any new dimensions. So it looks like our players and some of our coaches are thrown in between decision making and as in whether it was an offside or not. But I really feel that they should go back, or most of our coaches and then our players, some of them must really have a quick look at the rules of the game, because the coach didn't know or never had any idea whether the last line of defense or the second line of defense had been crossed, and therefore Yaya Mohammed was offside until that education from some of our colleagues didn't even have any idea of that decision. But even with the referees, we've had a number of them trying to explain the rules and then interpreting the decision, and it looks like there seem to be divergent views even with the referees themselves. So
yeah, but you see, Calvin, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We watch all the leagues in the world. We watch the Champions League, World Cup. It's always a contentious issue, especially the offside decision.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'll bring in Jerome Otri, our regular colleague on the show. Jerome, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity, Gary.
Yeah, so I was saying about the offside rule, and Kelvin was just about saying that even among the coaches and the refs, they can't have a consensus as to whether it was offside or not. Even when VAR is there in the Champions League, we run commentaries here. Jerome, people don't agree on decisions when the thing has been replayed for all of us to see.
Absolutely, and I like the bit about Osei Akoto Kanu drawing the coach's attention to what the rule says. I watched the match and I recorded it. I replayed that part several times to be sure whether or not the referee got it right. And to be frank with you, I still don't know whether he was right. If the rule says he got it right, so be it. Because, we are all playing by the rules. We must play by the rules. That is why I found the coach post-match commentary to be in bad taste.
Yeah.
Because, you see, even if you don't know, you have to play on the safer side so that when the correction comes, your reaction wouldn't have been bad. I feel that this is the time we have to sit back and get certain things right with our game. We're all humans. There are some times that we get needlessly emotional. But is it the right thing to do when we want to get things right? Ghana football has gone through a lot. People have made statements that in the past wasn't even punished. And I feel that the example shown by the Adriana coach isn't the type that we should encourage.
Yeah.
That is why, for instance, I have asked that the normalization committee, the body that they have put in place to organize this competition, must quickly watch that commentary by the coach. In fact, I saw it on GTV. I don't know whether he made similar comments anywhere, but they must watch that interview again and call the coach to order.
It was actually Kelvin who interviewed him. Yeah,
exactly.
After.
I watched that interview, and if you watch it carefully, Kevin had even finished the interview, and the coach drew his attention to something. I mean, he told him that he had something more to say, and he came in with that comment, which I think was in bad taste. He didn't have to say that because, you see, we have fans who do not understand the rules of the game. Even journalists, even some of us do not know the rules of the game.
Particularly the offside rule. You know, it keeps changing every other year, and the offside rule is not actually universal. Certain leagues have certain iterations. So you would go to England, what will constitute an offside may be slightly different from Spain and so on and so forth. So there's all that.
So we all need to be careful. And again, I will repeat this call. The normalization committee, if they are so much interested in changing the face of our game, should begin to act from here. Because if I watch a game where the coach at the end of proceeding come out to say that if referees do not take care, if a referee decides to cheat, if a referee decides to help a team that is weaker, then next time it will be suicidal. Gary, this is not a comment we should take lightly.
Sure.
And placing it in the context where we have had fans misbehaving across league centers. This morning I said somewhere that Doma is normally a hostile region, and someone told me, look, even Kumasi, you have been hostile. I agree.
True.
I'm saying that we need to look at things dispassionately so that we will not make the mistakes that we made in the past, which brought Ghana football down.
Right. And again, let's not forget that the normalization committee said many times that they wanted football to start. One of their reasons was they wanted football to start so that all the reforms that they are going to put forward or we are going to agree on can be tested before the league. Yes. So I agree with you. I'm actually happy these things are happening. So
yes,
that
it really gives us a very good cause to start applying most of the things that we want to see in the future. And for me, this is one thing that needs to be picked up. And I'm sure that the legal board that has been set up for this normalization period, led by Samson Ladi, would pick this up. I really feel it was an unfortunate comment. In as much as I moderated the interview, I really felt bad. Just as you heard from Jerome, I never even asked the question to even ask about the decision taken by the referee, but in his agitated mode, he decided to address it, and it went so wrong. I couldn't just control.
Points well made, Kevin.
And I really feel we must take a critical look at some of these things. It
Excellent.
The fans to act in a very poor manner when there is a return leg or there is another game being played.
Agreed, especially when Aduana is concerned. But guys, looking at the Kotoko Aduana game brings to mind where they are. Like I said in my introduction, they're in the northern zone of the competition. So apart from the two, there's Mediama, there's Chelsea, there's Stallions FC, which used to be Wild Stars, and Ashgold. All have won the Ghana Premier League before. Sure. And all have won the Ghana Premier League in the last 10 years, actually. You know, so it's a very tight group. How do you see it going? Starting with you, Jerome.
I think it's going to be very difficult. Difficult in the sense that before Sunday's game, I mean, many had predicted that Kotoko was the most active team, and for that reason, we're going to have things very easy going for them against the Aduana Stars. But if you watch the game closely, Kotoko had things very difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, Aduana really showed that they may not have been that active, but when it is against Kotoko, they will put up their best and get good results. Looking at that group, if this is how things are going to go, then I will tell you, it is going to be a close fight. I do not think that any of the teams there will have things easy. If you check the strength of Aduana and Doma, I mean, it's almost impossible to beat them there. And if that trend is going to continue, they may not do too well away, but you can be sure that when they go home, they will get their results. Kotoko, I have to be honest, will have to double up their performance, because in Kumasi, what I saw yesterday, it wasn't too impressive. In away matches, it's going to be more difficult than we saw yesterday. And that means that if Kotoko, for instance, will not back up, then whoever will do that will be leading that zone.
Right.
So I see the Northern Zone to be very tough. I mean, I am yet to see some of the matches, some of the teams, but I can tell that from what I have seen the teams do in the past, and from what I saw in just a game yesterday, that group will be very difficult.
All right, Jerome, thank you very much for your time. Kelvin, final comments before I let you go as well about the Northern Zone.
Well, thank you very much. But I feel that it's going to be a tight group, just as Jerome has said. He felt that the Diana Stars were not competitive. They didn't know when they were even going to start training. Salary issues had disrupted the function of the team. They don't have a substantive head coach. This is the assistant coach taking care of the team. But you look at the sort of play, the sort of match they gave Asante Kotoko yesterday, clearly gives an indication that they have a very good team. They just lost about 3 players. That is Omar Basiru, Emmanuel Boateng, and then Mohamed Alassan, who's joined Accra House of Folk. They still have the core of the team that played in Africa. So they're a very good team. And anybody who's followed Ashanti Gold very well, since Ike Akono joined and then Frederick Achi, the CEO, took over, they've had a very good growth with regards to play, organization, and how the team wants to get up to the top rank of the Ghanaian football ladder and also get themselves back into Africa. They have a very good coach in Tanasievich, who's been very brilliant. And for me, I feel that they can still give a lot more to play. They have quality in their experience, the likes of Sadiq Adam, Shafiu Momoni, Eric Donko, Tijani Joshua. They have it to be up there. We haven't seen the likes of Mediama, but I still feel that Samuel Boadu has a very good team that could really give a run for their money. Mediama played their first game against Asante Kotoko on Wednesday or Thursday. So we would have a very good look at them and see how they can also fancy their chances. It's going to really be tough, but for me, I don't say Asante Kotoko. Right. From what I saw yesterday, I feel that Ashanti Gold have proven all within their might and doubt yesterday after they beat Techiman 11-1 at Obuasi, that they are the favorite for this group. Okay,
all right, thank you very much, Kelvin Owusu-Ansah. We appreciate your time. He watched the game for us. Kotoko versus Adriana Stars. Kotoko won that one, but just barely. And this is the Joy Sports Track on 99.7 Joy FM. We are just about 28 minutes to the top of the hour.
Elvis Opoku finds Yaya Mohammed, and it's still Kotoko under siege. Yaya Mohammed offside. Against Yaya Mohammed, and the players won't protest. The Adriana Stars players will definitely protest. That is a close shave. Very, very close shave. So first of all, Felix Annan did well by coming off his lines. And this ball, where was Yaya Mohammed? Was there a Kotoko player in the box? Well, okay, so this is it. So Felix Annan came out. There was a player of Kotoko on the lines. What a decision. What a decision by assistant referee to Tijani Mohammed.
The way forward, officiating, they must also normalize themselves. I've said it. And they must also do the good thing. You don't use your mind to play the game. And it's a shame. They must also normalize themselves. Let's have a very fine platform for everybody. If the playing ground is good. If I lose, I'll accept it. We are not worried. But we can all testify that the ball that entered the net, there was a player, Wahab was right in the pole. Let's go and play it again. And he disallowed it. Fine, no problem. But I just want to say that those of us who wrote Adriana off have seen. So go and revise your notes.
So, those of us who write Adriana off should see. Moving on to other games, it was interesting because Wafa made light work of Liberty Professionals by beating them 3-1 in Sugar Kope. Goals came from Justice Amate, Kingsley Opoku, and Andrews in team. Commanding 3-0 lead first before Frederick Ansabutri grabbed a consolation for Liberty. Next up, let's go to Cape Coast now because Kerala United put up a superb performance to stun Ebusuan Dwarfs by 2-1. Alex Crunchy watched that game and he joins us on the line. Thank you very much, Alex, for your time.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Give us an idea of how the game went. First of all, how did people take the return to football in Cape Coast?
Thank you very much, and let me welcome you to the Asian capital, Cape Coast. And of course, yesterday was the NC special competition here at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. And I think that people of Cape Coast have really, met the football action in the Cape Coast here. And so, if you could see yesterday, there was numerous fans who came to support the various teams yesterday. So I would say people of Cape Coast have really missed the game of football. And so it was really awesome and a fantastic afternoon that you all witnessed yesterday.
Yeah. What were the high points of this game? Because, we expected Dwarfs to put up a stern challenge, but Karela had other ideas.
Yes, I think Busan Dwarfs teams need a lot of work to do. They have a lot of work to do because taking the first half into consideration, it looked as if Karela FC was rather playing home. They had their chances, created a lot of chances, and it got them 2 goals in the first half, of which it wasn't one of the best. But the perception has been that Karela FC, whenever they come to Cape Coast, they have an upper hand over Busan Dwarfs. In the last season Premier League, they managed to beat Busan Dwarfs both in home and away, and also in the Jane 8 tournament, they also beat Busan Dwarfs in the same Cape Coast stadium. So coming into this game, they had the idea, they had the perception that, of course, Cape Coast have been their second home and they could do something for themselves. So in fact, in the first half of the game, Busan Dwarfs was very, very down. And I don't know whether because their Seneca coach Bashir Hayford left the team just a while ago, and the assistant coach who is taking over now, whether getting his things wrong this time around. But in the first half, it was all Karela putting the accents on top. And Busan Dwarfs came in the second half trying to get an equalizer and what have you. And so the first half really caused Busan Dwarfs making Karela FC getting the first goal in the opener in the first 10 minutes by player Emmanuel Wafo. It was a penalty that gentleman got there, and it was a mistake by the Busan Dwarfs goalkeeper Razak Issa. And the referee gave it a penalty, and Emmanuel Wafo scored that goal for Karela. And somewhere in the 23rd minute in the same first half, player DRC Taylor also got a second goal for the Karela FC. And in the second half, where Busan Dwarfs came to action, and it will interest you to know that in the second half, goalkeeper for Karela FC, who was also a former player for Busan Dwarfs, goalkeeper Kofi Mensah, made a silly mistake which got Busan Dwarfs coming back into the game. In the second half, player Abdul Dramani got the equalizer in 68 minutes of the game, and I couldn't imagine Dwarfs got a penalty and was being missed by player Mohamed Osman, and it could have been 2-2 for Busan Dwarfs. But in the nutshell, I think Busan Dwarfs have a lot of work to do.
All right, Alex.
And the attacking aspect of the game.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that match report and your observations from there. Moving on to the Hearts versus Dreams FC game, a game that was really keenly looked forward to. Benedict also was there for us as well. Benedict, thank you for your time.
Yes, Gary, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so what were the high points of that game? We covered it extensively on myjoyonline.com, but what did you see?
Well, it was a great game, and you realize that coming into the Accra Stadium, people really missed football, and that they came in anticipation of a great game between the two teams, because the rivalry between Accra Hearts and Dreams FC. Recently, they played in a cup competition or a cup game, which Accra Hearts won. So the Phobians definitely wanted to continue their dominance over Dreams FC, and that's exactly what the fans of Dreams FC, Accra Hearts came in here anticipating. And speaking to the fans even before at the start of the game, I got the sense and the idea that people had really missed football, and they were very, very excited to be at the Accra Stadium. Since the stadium was renovated for the Alcon, it was the Black Stars that came here and played, and for them coming here to watch their game, their club Accra Hearts was very good for them, especially when now we have some sort of a new stadium to always come here and watch football. So it was a great game. The game itself was very nice. Since football went in abeyance for 9 months, of course, if you're a Hearts of Folk fan, or maybe if you're a football follower and you're asked to give the starting 11 of Accra Hearts of Folk or Dreams FC, I'm sure because of no activity, you will struggle. But Accra Hearts of Folk put up some of the players that we already know and some addition. And yesterday it was really, really nice seeing the likes of Obin Jr., who actually scored a goal for Accra Hearts. We already know of Thomas Esso. He was key to their team before the league went on break, the Bosch League, and he also played a part in the game. It was just a great spectacle watching the two teams. When you go to Dreams as well, Isaac Amwako, former Kumasi Asante Kotoko goalkeeper, was in post, gave some wonderful performance yesterday at the stadium, as well as Eric Gatete, who was the skipper for the side yesterday. On the whole, it was a very good game, and for me, I think that Accra really deserved to win that game yesterday.
Excellent. So there are more match reports of some of these games on myjoyonline.com, including some of our takeaways. But Benedict will segue nicely into tennis because you are also happening to cover at the Bukom Boxing Arena the fact that Ghana is hosting two major international table tennis federation tournaments, the World Junior Circuit and the African Junior and Cadet Championships. Give us an idea of what's going on.
Exactly, Gary. But before I go on, point of correction, I was just corrected. So I think you also have to make that correction.
Okay.
That is not happening at the Bukom Boxing Arena. It's happening at the Trust Sports Emporium.
The Trust Sports Emporium.
Exactly.
Okay, so they are in the same complex.
Exactly, they are in the same complex, but they want us to, make that difference.
The distinction, okay.
Yeah, it is happening at the Trust Sports Emporium. So that's where it's happening, as you rightly noted.
But Benedict, before you go on, at the time the Bukom Boxing Arena was done, we were told that it was going to be completed. I actually didn't know that it's been done. So, first of all, how is it looking?
It's looking great. I had the opportunity to, tour the place.
Yeah.
Some of the facilities still ongoing, especially you look at the pool. They are building a 10-feet pool, which is an international standard, a FINA standard.
Oh, wow.
And you look at the Sports Emporium as well, the Trust Sports Emporium. You just have to be there to see the amazing work that is done there. Aside the Bukom Boxing Arena, there is also a hostel. There's a school in there as well. They have an automotive gym in there as well as a world-class physiotherapy center. So you can imagine there.
So it's like a multi. We can invite international teams. They can come and actually sleep there and then have their games there.
The only thing missing at the Emporium is that there is no football pitch.
Wow.
That's the only thing missing. Aside that, you can think of anything that you need for sports and you get it there.
All right.
And it's very, very nice.
To the event itself.
And well, to the event, as you mentioned, it's starting today. It's going to be a very busy month for table tennis in the country, as we've been hearing from Malcolm Afajino, who is president of the Ghana Table Tennis Federation. And it started today with the opening ceremony. Very colorful opening ceremony. When we got there, they were just about wrapping up the opening ceremony. And the first game had happened. That was between Ghana and Saudi Arabia. And of course, because most of these boys, and these are young boys, that they want to build their capacity for future tournament. They haven't played in a major international game like this. You could, you could see the nerves, and these guys were not able to. With a number of eyeballs and the people around, it was very difficult for them. But they managed to play against the Saudi Arabian team, who year in, year out, they participate in some of these competitions, and this is nothing new to them. So, unfortunately, we lost by 3-1, but that's not the end. There will be more games to play, more games to look forward to. Even this afternoon, Team Ghana again will go into it with other countries. 64 participating countries are here. And we hope to have a very wonderful spectacle from now till the time the championship is over.
Fantastic. Many, many thanks, Benedict. We appreciate your time.
A pleasure.
Right, so Benedict's giving us a report there, but here's the president of the Ghana Table Tennis Federation, Malcolm Afajino.
1st to the 6th, we have the World Juniors Championship in Ghana. What it means is that the whole world is coming to Ghana to play the table tennis version of the, you can call it a FIFA World Cup, but this is the table tennis version. And we have various teams competing at the various age categories. Under 12, under 15, under 18, and under 18 for the World Juniors Championship. It will be played at the Bukom Trust Emporium, and it's an excellent venue. We encourage everybody to be there, pick up, make the time, come. It starts from 9 in the morning, from Monday all the way to the 6th. That's for the World Juniors Championship. Now, on the 6th, we have the International Table Tennis Day. To celebrate this year, we're doing something very unique and different in Ghana. We're having the Celebrity Open. And so anybody who is a celebrity, and we're all celebrities in our homes, right? So we are all invited to be there. Come and play with all the stars, all the people you want to see.
Love that. Anybody who is a celebrity, but we are all celebrities in our home. Anyway, this is the Joy Sports Track brought to you by celebrity Gary Alsmith.
Joy 99.7 FM.
International weekend was done, and the Premier League weekend, La Liga weekend, the French Ligue 1 weekend came into force, really. Kylian Mbappe was unplayable once again. The young one is scoring for fun. Some people say that is the Farmers League. However, in England, it was a small matter for Man City as they played Fulham.
Bernardo Silva. Silva's found a way through, and Manchester City have the lead that has been coming ever since the game kicked off, and it's come just 5 minutes into it. Bernardo Silva scores for the third game in a row. Bernardo Silva once more, though, and now Sergio Aguero, who bursts between two and lifts the ball over Sergio Rico, one of the game's best strikers at the very top of his art. 29 goals this season, I reckon around 20. Here's Harry Arter. Camarasa! Victor Camarasa in the first minute of the second half. Not many saw this coming. Cardiff 1, Chelsea 0. Willian, Marcos Alonso on, and Chelsea find a way through. Cesar Azpilicueta with his first Premier League goal of the season. A blessed relief for Mauricio Sarri and Chelsea. Azpilicueta, Willian, Olivier Giroud rises, and it's headed home by Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Cardiff crestfallen. Chelsea have turned it around. They've had lady luck on their side, but it looks like they're going to win this one now. Cardiff 1, Chelsea 2. Off the bench to win it, Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
And that was Cardiff losing against Chelsea. Very interesting game it was, but undoubtedly the game of the weekend in England, must be said, was Liverpool versus Spurs. Hugely anticipated, and it was not short on drama.
Robertson playing the ball in, a downward header is in! Firmino was there! The first big chance of the match! 15 minutes on the clock. What a cross from Robertson! It was asking to be headed in by Firmino, and he did just that, and Liverpool lead Tottenham by 1-0. Kane's fouled, takes a quick free kick to Trippier. Trippier takes it down. Trippier immediately back to Eriksen. Eriksen's ball across. Moura is there. It's a Tottenham equaliser, and Spurs celebrate in front of the Anfield Road end. That is a huge blow to Liverpool. Tottenham needed it. Manchester City needed it, but Liverpool are pegged back here at Anfield. It's 1-1. Alexander-Arnold lifts it into the back post. Salah heads it across. Maurice Hunt. He's pushed it straight into Alderweireld. It's an own goal. The ball's in the back of the Tottenham net, and Liverpool have scored in the 90th minute to make it 2-1. There's a huddle of Liverpool players. Van Dijk kicks the ball high into the stand. That's crucial for Liverpool in their push for the title, and that would take them back to the top of the table. Oh, drama indeed. Drama indeed.
Drama. You think you know drama? Well, let's go to Germany, where all roads lead to Munich now. At the end of a week in which it was announced that France's World Cup winning defender Lucas Hernandez will arrive at Bayern in the summer after the champions paid a fee almost double the Bundesliga's existing highest for an incoming player. Marco Reus will also head for Bavaria as a Borussia Dortmund player, of course, but there had been doubt about the captain making the journey. This weekend, Reus's first child, a baby girl, arrived a few days earlier than expected, freeing daddy up to lead his side in what could be the defining game of the season. It was a good game, it was a great game, and guess who was there? George Addo Jr. was in that game, and he gives us a wrap of what happened in the Bundesliga ahead of what should be a thrilling title race.
Krakow Castle stoppage time brace 5 Borussia Dortmund back to the top of the Bundesliga table on Saturday with a 2-0 victory over Wolfsburg ahead of the title race showdown with Bayern Munich next week. Watching from the stands, every supporter of the yellow and black agreed Borussia Dortmund survived the tough afternoon at the Signal Iduna Park without captain Marco Reus before Alcázar snatched the dramatic victory with 2 late goals. Alcázar scored from a free kick in the 90th minute before converting Jadon Sancho's ball from the right 4 minutes into stoppage time and helped Dortmund reclaim top spot as Bayern slipped in the Black Forest. Bayern were left to stand when Freiburg took the lead after just 3 minutes. Robert Lewandowski hooking in an equalizer with an elegant finish. Lewandowski hit the post in other time, but Bayern could not force a winner and dropped 2 points behind Dortmund. The two title contenders will go head-to-head at the Allianz Arena next Saturday. Meanwhile, Leipzig demolished heads of the league to take firm control of third in Bundesliga, and Kasim Nouh's Hoffenheim reignited their European hopes with a ruthless performance. George Addo Jr., Dortmund, Germany, courtesy Star Times Ghana and Bundesliga International.
So George bringing us that report. Let's go over everything again and remind ourselves of why the title race is such a big deal in Germany and why it's come to a knife edge. Like he said at the end of his report, Kasim Nuhu of the Black Stars was involved as Hoffenheim won 4-1 against Bayer Leverkusen. That was on Friday. Nuremberg also won 3-0 against Augsburg. Fortuna Düsseldorf played against Mönchengladbach. Fortuna won 3-1. Werder also won 3-1 against Mainz. SC Freiburg and Bayern played 1-1. That was a defining result indeed. And Dortmund won by 2-0 against Wolfsburg. I'll tell you what it means in terms of the table shortly. Leipzig also won 5-0 against Hertha. Hannover were beaten by a 0-0 by Schalke. And Frankfurt won 3-0 against VfB Stuttgart. What it means now is that Dortmund have supplanted Bayern atop the table. 63 points it is. Bayern have 61. And they'll be playing this weekend at the Allianz Arena, Dortmund and Bayern. There's no bigger game in Europe, trust me, than that one here on the Joy Sports Track. So Germany done, Europe done. Maybe we should get a wrap, should we, of what happened across the leagues. Here's Moses Eboa.
Napoli ripped AS Roma's defense to shreds as they handed the host an embarrassing 4-1 defeat at the Stadio Olimpico in Syria on Sunday and piled on the problems for recently appointed coach Claudio Ranieri. Second place Napoli stayed 15 points behind runaway leaders Juventus, who beat Empoli 1-0 on Saturday. Milan, in the lowest of the Champions League slots, had 51 points, followed by Atalanta 48 and Roma 47. Thomas Partey was on the score sheet for Atletico Madrid as they thrashed Alaves to keep alive their faint hopes of winning the La Liga title as they stayed 10 points behind leaders Barcelona in second place. Messi reached 40-goal mark in all competitions this season as he scored twice to end Barcelona's 2-0 Catalan derby win over Espanyol. And Karim Benzema saved Real Madrid's blushes by scoring a superb late goal to snatch a 3-2 win at home to La Liga basement side Huesca. PSG beat Toulouse 1-0 and Thomas Tuchel's side will be crowned Ligue 1 champions next week if they beat Strasbourg and Lille fail to win.
Moses Eboa with that report. Ending our European wrap, but we've got a couple of minutes to burn, maybe about 6 minutes. And like we said at the top of the show, we have to speak about Kwadwo Asamoah. Now, you know he came back from hibernation, I like to put it that way, following not playing for the Black Stars for a couple of years. Now, it's been a start-stop relationship over 4 years. A start-stop relationship with Kwadwo Asamoah because some games he's not played, but we've not had a full explanation as to what's happening. So it was with very keen interest that a lot of us were watching what was going to happen in the latest qualifiers, for which he got a call-up as well, for Kenya and for Mauritania. In the end, he did not play both. Interestingly, Kwesi Appiah was asked what's happening with the player because you didn't even field him in the Kenya game. In the Mauritania game, Kwesi Appiah also gave an explanation as to why the player was not available at all. Jerome Otri is on the line with us, but let's listen to the Black Stars coach speaking about his star player.
Kwadwo Asamoah's issue, there are some medical issues that I cannot explain everything in public. But when he came after the second day, he had an injury and we thought that, it should be fine. I didn't want to risk him because the extent of the injury, we communicated with his club and they thought that it's best we let him come as soon as possible. Because, as I said, it's not good to expose a player's medical history to the public. But he had an injury, and for that reason, we could not use him, and he had to leave immediately for medical attention.
Jerome, thank you for your time. When you heard the explanation from Kwesi Appiah initially, what did you think? And please don't go onto the side of don't go onto the side of the game that he played yesterday. I just want to know your initial reaction when you heard the explanations after the Mauritania game.
Well, I have to say I believe the coach.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't want me to go to
Yeah. So like most of us, we just took it that, yes, we had heard two things, Jerome, and correct me if I'm wrong, that he had a medical issue. And as we heard Kwesi Appiah say himself, the player had a medical issue on his second day of the training ahead of the Kenya game, right? So this is about like last week, Wednesday, if I am right. Yes. And then we were told that he had to rush to Barcelona before the Mauritania game to get himself treated. Now let's go to the game that he played this weekend. He was easily the best player for Inter Milan, wasn't he? When they played in their game, and that has raised a lot of questions. Are there legitimate questions, even as they lost to Lazio 1-0?
Look, there are serious, legitimate questions. And let me tell you this. Yesterday, when I saw the story in the evening, my immediate reaction was that we seem not to be serious with the management of the Black Stars. And it will get to a point where, if we are not careful, some players will decide when we have to use them. And that's what we are doing. Look, I cannot understand why we cannot be bold and use players we want to use. Here is a situation where players rather tell us when they want to play, even when they have been invited for the national team.
Yeah, but the coach says that he was injured. That's the official reason.
I mean, Gary, you and I know that official reason is not the truth. I mean, miracles do happen, but this is not a miracle. We know very well that some of the players calm down. They are not willing to play. Excuses will be given. They go back to their clubs, and you see them in action. I do not think it augurs well for our national team. And this is the time we have to put our feet down and do the right thing. I think we are pampering what, in my opinion, doesn't serve the interest of the national team. And we have done this thing over time. This is not the first time we are doing this. Or this is not the first time we are having a player giving us an excuse that he is not well. This excuse will be authenticated by the team. The next day, he's on the flight back to his club, and you see him in action. We are not doing the national team any good service with that attitude. And it is time we told the authorities in charge that we are not helping the nation with that attitude. We all know it is not the best, yet we are doing it.
Right. Jerome Otri, final word there. We appreciate your time. We don't have a lot of time, so we wouldn't... Yeah. But, what I will say is that, sometimes you like to give the national handlers the opportunity to just tell us what the official reasons are. But if you notice since Kwadwo Asamoah came back, it's not been regular. And anytime he's played, there have been murmurings around the team. The African Cup of Nations is drawing near. Whatever issues there are should be sorted. If he doesn't want to play, as we've heard, in certain positions, that is some of the information we have, that he doesn't want to play. And again, we have it on tape. I interviewed Kwadwo Asamoah. He mentioned when he came back that he was not comfortable playing in midfield anymore because, in his words, Antonio Conte rewired him, and his midfield role is something that he has seemed to have forgotten a bit. If Kwesi Appiah wants to play him in that position and he doesn't like it, they should just tell us, rather than having these reasons and making us feel like we don't know the situation that is going on in the camp. Anyway, I'm Gary Al Smith, and thank you very much for your time on the Joy Sports Track. We have more, especially on the local league that's just begun, the Normalization Committee Special Cup, in our subsequent bulletins. You take care, and we'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Joy 99.7 FM.